Comedian apparently is truly upset over what another comedian said about him. But what are the true facts behind this, well, rather strange British story? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. I hope you're keeping well. Thank you for joining me today. And yes, we're talking about a comedian who really is sort of dividing people. He's a bit Marmite, to be honest. You either like him or you don't. But I often find with comedians that is truly the case. It's always about the tears of a clown also, isn't it? When you meet a lot of the great comedians, you do kind of find that they're kind of morose off camera and save everything for being on stage. But this particular comedian, well, apparently he's now very upset over some remarks that he found it very hard to get over. Who are we talking about? Well, Michael McIntyre. But what's gone wrong? Hi, as I say, it's interesting, isn't it, when you look at comedians themselves. I always hark back to the days when you had the wonderful Morecambe and Wise, who absolutely ripped into Des O'Connor. Time and time again, Deaf O'Connor, Desperate O'Connor. But Des knew the value of being mentioned on the Morecambe and Wise show with millions of people tuning in every single day. It's interesting, isn't it, as well, that Des knew the value so much that he appeared on the show quite a number of times. But we're in different times now, and we're talking about Michael McIntyre. Now, Michael McIntyre apparently was all upset because, well, another comedian, and I say that term loosely, Johnny Vegas apparently said some things, and he found it very difficult to get over. What I find odd about this particular story is when you scratch away, as we often know when we look at these particular stories, is there's more to it than meets the eye. To say also that I'm not always buying this narrative that Michael McIntyre likes to present forward, and I'll tell you why. He often says things like, well, it was really difficult when he was starting out, he had no money, he didn't really know how to get going. Well, to me, that's absolute nonsense, because if you look at his pedigree, his father, Ray Cameron, was a very well-connected man in the world of show business. And I know that Michael sadly lost him when he was young, but nonetheless, he would have had some very good contacts to call upon. So I'm not really believing the fact that, it wasn't until he was discovered, that particular narrative of story. But back to the plot today. Apparently Johnny Vegas said some things that Michael struggled truly to get over. And of course this is all detailed in, guess what? A book he's got to promote. That's right. It's funny, isn't it, how they manage to drag these particular things up. What I find odd about that is, do you remember when comedians just were comedians? You didn't know that much about them. You certainly don't know their mental health struggles and all that sort of stuff. But what you did know was they were funny. I'm talking about the likes of Peter Sellers, the Goons, Dick Emery, Benny Hill, Morecambe and Wise, you name it, true comedy greats that simply made us laugh. And of course didn't want us not to laugh at them or indeed feel sorry for them. Everything you saw was simply on screen for your benefit. What happened to those days? And more importantly, does Michael McIntyre truly believe that this is the way forward to sell yet another, yes, another painstaking autobiography? If I was his PR team, I'd be having a bit of a drastic rethink. After all, funny means fabulous and success. Neil Sean in the heart of London.